Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and we're really going beyond, the usual story, turkey, pie, football.
Right, we want to uncover the history, the surprising origins, even the politics behind it all.
And let's start with a couple of quick myth busters right off the bat.
Okay, hit me.
That famous 1621 Plymouth Feast. They didn't call it Thanksgiving.
Oh, what did they call it?
Well, they didn't really have a specific name recorded like that for the feast. And for them, the word Thanksgiving actually meant something quite different.
Different how?
It meant a religious day, solemn, often involving fasting and prayer, not a big harvest meal.
Huh. Okay, so if 1621 wasn't the first Thanksgiving feast, were there others even earlier?
Looks like it. Some historians point way back to 1598.
1598? Where?
Down in Texas, actually,
Yeah.
near El Paso. Spanish settlers and Native Americans apparently held a feast together after a really hard journey, celebrating survival.
Wow. So the tradition we have now is really a mix of things over time.
Exactly. It evolved.
Okay, let's zoom back into 1621 for a bit. The menu. Forget the modern table. What was actually served back then?
Well, records and accounts mention venison, the Wampanoag brought deer, lots of wild birds too, probably duck, goose.
Not necessarily turkey then.
Turkey might have been around, but it wasn't the star. And interestingly, lots of seafood, clams, mussels, maybe even eel.
Eel. Okay, definitely not on my menu now. What about the sides we expect? Potatoes, pumpkin pie?
Nope, completely absent. Potatoes weren't common yet, and things like pie require sugar, which was incredibly rare and expensive. Cranberry sauce too, same issue as sugar.
So the turkey, how did that become the absolute symbol of the holiday?
That really took off in the 1800s. It was mostly, practical.
Practical. How?
A turkey is big enough to feed a whole family or a crowd. And crucially for farmers, it made more sense to slaughter a turkey than, say, a cow needed for milk or chickens needed for eggs.
So it was kind of the most expendable large bird for a feast.
Pretty much. An economic choice, it became tradition.
Okay, so we've got the food sorted, but making this a national holiday, that took some doing, right? It wasn't automatic.
Not at all. It took decades of campaigning.
Yeah.
Largely by one incredibly determined woman.
Who was that?
Sarah Josepha Hale. You might know her as the writer of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
No kidding. That's Sarah Josepha Hale.
The very same. She was also a very influential magazine editor, and she spent something like 30 years writing letters.
30 years? To who?
Presidents, governors, congressmen, anyone who would listen. She argued that a national Thanksgiving Day could help unite the country.
And this push finally worked during a very divided time.
Exactly. Abraham Lincoln made the proclamation in 1863, right in the middle of the Civil War.
Wow. So Hale's vision of unity, Lincoln picked up on that.
It seems so. He explicitly framed it as a way to find common ground and healing, even amidst the war.
But establishing it wasn't the end of the story for the day, was it? There was some political maneuvering later on.
Oh, yeah. Fast forward to 1939. Franklin D. Roosevelt decided to move Thanksgiving.
Move it? Why?
He bumped it a week earlier. The idea was to create a longer Christmas shopping season to help businesses during the Depression.
How did that go over?
Not well.
Huh?
People were furious. Critics called it Franksgiving.
Franksgiving, love it. So what happened?
It was chaos for 2 years. Some states followed FDR, others stuck to the original date. Imagine planning travel or anything.
What a
Total mess. So Congress finally had to step in and officially fix the date in 1941. Fourth Thursday of November. That's the law now.
It's amazing how much history is packed into just deciding when to eat turkey.
Right. And this whole idea of giving thanks, celebrating a harvest, it's not just American, of course.
Good point. It feels pretty universal.
Absolutely. You see harvest festivals everywhere. Canada celebrates its Thanksgiving in October, which makes sense for their climate.
And wasn't there one in Japan you mentioned?
Yeah, Kinri Concha no Hai. Labor Thanksgiving Day. It's less about harvest, more about celebrating work, production, and thanking each other. Similar spirit of community gratitude.
Interesting connection. And speaking of connections, there are a couple of fun trivia bits tied to Thanksgiving turkey, aren't there?
Yes. The TV dinner.
That was Thanksgiving related.
Totally. Swanson, the company, apparently had a massive overestimation of how many turkeys they'd sell for Thanksgiving in 1953. They had tons left over.
So what did they do?
Some salesmen had the bright idea. Package it up in trays with sides, freeze it, boom. The first TV dinners were born from leftover turkey.
That's incredible. And the other one, Ben Franklin.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Franklin famously wasn't a fan of the bald eagle as the national bird. He thought it had bad moral character, stealing fish from other birds.
Okay. So what did he prefer?
He argued, maybe slightly jokingly, maybe not, that the turkey was a much more respectable bird, a true original native of America.
Ben Franklin wanted the turkey as the national bird. That's a great story.
He definitely admired it more than the eagle.
So when you pull all this together, the shaky origins, the menu changes, the political battles, the global echoes, what's the big takeaway for us today?
I think it shows that Thanksgiving is, well, it's more than just a meal. It's this centuries-long story reflecting survival, the struggle for unity, finding gratitude even in really hard times.
Like surviving that first winter or the Civil War.
Exactly. It's layered.
Yeah.
So maybe the next time you're, actually pausing to feel thankful around that table, just consider that you're tapping into something really fundamental. This very human need, practiced across cultures and centuries, to stop and appreciate what we have, especially when it's hard won. It connects you to a much bigger story.